Are you getting ready to send a kid off to college? I'm about to do that, and I've been in higher education for over 30 years, so I have a bit of advice for you about your kid getting ready to start college. And maybe you're just visiting some schools at this point. They're not done with high school yet. But why don't we look into some ways that you could change this up a little, save a little money, and have a little fun at the same time? Are you ready? Let's go. All right, I'm Janet with Future Ready Consulting, and we can give you some advice about getting your pre-college student or college student future ready. I've been in higher education for 30 plus years. I know a little bit about the transition period and how students react and what they need to do to be successful. But in this video, we're going to talk about kind of a partnership between the two of you to manage getting them to visits for campus, orientations, and even transporting them to campus. Now we're going to have more details on that in a later video. So this one we're going to focus on campus visits. So you need to be sure that if your student is interested in going to a particular campus or college, that they do some visits and that one of you supporters or parents go with them. The key is to look at the college campus while it's quiet and empty, as well if you get a chance to, as well it's busy with students on it. Those are very different time periods. So try to go during an academic period. And if you get a chance, you might want to check it out in the summer as well if they're interested in staying there over the summer. If not, the key is seeing them in the environment with students on campus, because it can be a little overwhelming. And they need to see what that's going to be like. You may be looking at small schools or large schools. If you're looking at a large school, transportation to the school may not be that big a deal. You've got potentially the ability to drive, the ability to fly. If you're flying into a big city and that's where the college is located, no big deal. But a lot of schools are located out in the boonies or out in the middle of nowhere or in a valley or in a farm area or an area where they had lots of land available to develop the college. So there aren't airports nearby. What else can you look at? Of course, you can drive. Driving is an option, and the first couple of times it may seem exciting and like a great adventure, but that can get old quickly. But I highly suggest you try that at first, and maybe your child has a car and will have that available, but not every kid is driving yet or has a car available. It's going to do wear and tear on your vehicle, and you may not have a vehicle that's good to pack a bunch of stuff in when you move them in. So one thing to consider is renting a car through an agency like Turo or a regular rental car agency, where you can get the appropriate car to go visit. That can also add some fun in the visit. There's going to be a lot of stress with visiting colleges and thinking about colleges. So if it's just you and your child, or you and your child and maybe one other person, maybe find a fun car that you can rent or get from Turo that you can take that'll make the adventure a little more exciting and be a little distracting to all the stress that's involved with looking at colleges. Like I said, you can fly. If you're going to fly, plan way, way ahead in advance. If you know when the orientation is, or you know when you're going to make that visit. If they're starting their junior year, you should start planning out vacation times and plane tickets and things like that around the different colleges that your child would like to visit. You can plan these around vacations. So maybe this college is near a town you've never seen before or has activities around it. We visited some that had ski resorts nearby. We don't ski, but there were other activities in the resort area. So plan around a vacation potentially so that you can take the whole family. And again, there's less stress and less focus on just this visit, but also some other fun things you have planned together. And besides that, you're not going to be able to afford a lot of campus visits and vacations. So think about combining them. When you're in the town, look at the possibility of train service or bus service. Now, these take longer, true, but if you're trying to get your child back and forth from college after they start, These also may be viable options for them to get a ride from a friend to the train or bus station, and then you can go pick them up, or at least for part of the adventure. I did use bus transportation when I was going to and from college to save a little wear and tear on my parents and on the family car. Now, it's going to be slower, and it's not going to work when you're moving them in, but it can also be an adventure. If there is a train service that allows you to do something new you've never done before, ride the train, see some sights along the way, consider the train, and again, make it an adventure and a potential vacation situation. Where are you going to stay after you arrive? There are a lot of options for this, and you should consider different ones. If your child is choosing small schools that are a decent way away in which you have to spend 1 or 2 nights, then there may not be a lot of hotels available for you to stay. Consider asking the school if they have dorm space. It would be great for your student to experience the dorm and what that looks like. You probably are not really excited about staying in a dorm as a parent, but you're going to see what your college kid will experience, and you're going to be able to determine if this is going to be a good fit for them, as are they. If you're going to do a hotel, look around. Make sure there's some available. Again, plan well in advance of these visits or of family weekends and things where you're going to know you're going to go see your child. Also look at Airbnb and rental properties. That can give you some more space, especially during a stressful time. Instead of having one room, multiple beds, you could have a property where you have multiple bedrooms and kitchen opportunities, so that you can again make this a bit of an adventure, potentially again make it a vacation. When we turned one of our campus visits into a vacation, we got an Airbnb. It had a fire pit, it had places we could go see, we could make our own meals, save some money, and that made it feel a little more homey and together, so that it wasn't as stressful. Consider family and friends that live nearby. Can you stay with them, or can they suggest places that you could stay that will give you a little more space and not be as stressful, be a bit of a distraction so the focus isn't just on the kid and the college, because that is stressful for your teenager ready to go off to college. So that might be a good idea. Now, there's some other different types of ideas that you should consider that we have tried. And one of those is renting a camper van or a camper to go and take your child to orientation or campus visit. So one of the opportunities you can use to go visit your kid at college or take them to orientation or even transport kids to camps that are farther away. You know, a lot of small colleges and camps are in small towns and small areas that are hard to find lodging and are hard to get to. So if you need to drive to do that, one of the opportunities is to use a rental camper or camper van and make it an adventure. That may lower the stress level for you and your child as you set out on this adventure to go to orientation or whatever. We recently did this with a camper van ourselves, and we went to the orientation using the camper van, and then we had the lodging, we had the means to get there. We could stop along the way, we could take breaks, we could take naps, and it would cost about the same as 2 plane tickets and lodging that it would have taken had we done it that way. So it's a great alternative to flying, to driving your own car. And if you're using it to move your child in, you could even tow a rental trailer with it and load everything in there, so you don't put a lot of stress and strain on the family and your particular vehicle, and you have a place to stay so you don't have to fight people. If you're not going to take your own lodging with you, you need to think way ahead and plan way ahead for the year, and make sure you secure an Airbnb or a hotel or something in that small town so that you end up having to stay way far away from the college when you take your child there. Just another option I think you should consider. As you can see, they have all the amenities you need. You can take showers, you have water, you can sleep, you can rest, you can make dinners and food, you can sit out under the stars. So there's a lot of opportunity with renting a camper or a camper van to go to orientation or even to take your child to school. So what about this taking your child to school these days? First of all, you don't need everything you think you need, but I understand that you want to take everything. So consider, if you have a trailer, taking the trailer, or renting a trailer from U-Haul or some other company, just a small one, so that you can stack everything in the trailer and the car is not, packed to the hilt with things that you will need to move your child in. Consider renting that trailer, pulling it behind your car, or if you've rented a car or a camper van, pull it behind that so you'll have everything you need. Be sure you take a toolkit with you in case there's things to put together, furniture to put together, beds to stack, or loft or whatever. Take those things. Overpack, but definitely assume you're going to be bringing some things back, because they will have an easier time as a new student in a new dorm room if it's not so cluttered, if it's simple, and if there's a place for everything. I will include some links below where you can rent camper vans like Outdoorsy, where you can do activities on the way. You can look at Viator and pick some activities to make this a vacation/adventure rather than, again, just focusing on this campus visit or orientation or when you're dropping the kid off. You might want to take a couple extra days, do something as a family together on the way, because it's a big change and you want to kind of leave it that you all had a great time and adventure to do this. And it wasn't just crying and separation anxiety and all of those things. Maybe you can make it some kind of adventure family vacation prior to dropping the kid off to school. So there are some options for you as you go back and forth to visit your child or to get them back to you at those vacation times or those holiday times. And I hope this helps with some opportunities and options for you. Check out some of our links below, because you will find some fantastic links to some great deals and suggestions that you can try out as you start your campus visits, orientation, or dropping your kid off to school. We appreciate you watching our channel. If you could subscribe, I have small business opportunities and tips, as well as college tips and tricks. Thank you. Please subscribe, and we will see you in this next video over here. All right. Remember, without impact, it doesn't matter. You can do this.